We're back with Ginger Bailey, whose information is on the screen and you will check out below. We've talked about her fitness, nutrition, exercise sessions that she has that helps people in a very custom-made way. And I want you all to check that out in the description box. Now, we're talking about cellulite with my beloved son on the other side, and of course with Ginger. Ginger's answering some of these questions because she knows so much about it. And of course, Erik is adding what he knows as well. Now, here's the next question.
I got to tell you really quick,
Uh-oh.
Erik. Yeah, he's got his shirt and he's got like a magnifying magnifying glass, and
Right?
he's going and he's
Checking
looking
out a
like
cellulite?
yeah, he's checking out his site. He's so funny.
You never had cellulite, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, yeah, that's why he's got the magnifying glass.
Yeah, you need a microphone, a microscope, an electron microscope, probably. All right, the smoking and eating processed and ultra processed foods worsen cellulite. Make it
Yes,
worse. Oh, wow.
yes,
Quickly.
absolutely. Because
Yeah, tell me
because
more.
anything that's going to cut down your circulation or mess with the circulatory system is going to affect it.
Yeah.
Because again, it's connective tissues, with the body, with the arteries. I know that, not to do an anatomy like class or anything, but the way the arteries and the veins work and they connect with the capillaries,
Right.
that all those get destroyed,
Right.
because they're not getting that circulation. So it destroys the tissue.
Arteries and arterioles and venules, and then you have the
Yeah,
collection of capillaries.
capillaries.
That's what gets destroyed. Wow.
Right, right, and it destroys it. And once that's gone, it's gone.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Do anti-cellulite creams work or is it just hype? I can't
The only thing
imagine.
that they do, they're not going to take away the cellulite, but what they do is they smooth the skin, and it has to be something that is going to help the skin smooth, and maybe thicken a little bit, but it doesn't do much. It doesn't do much.
Okay. And they're
Because
expensive. I wouldn't.
this is interesting. He goes, because think about it. When you have dry skin, all right, it shows more. Like it
Yeah.
wrinkles easier and
Yeah.
it shows more. But if you have smoother, puffed up skin,
It's the
all right,
hydration.
yes, the hydration, right, that's going to make a little difference. But it's really about getting the body fat percentage down, and you know,
Okay.
don't let's go get a tan, but don't, it's like that
Yeah.
sun
No,
damage.
no.
Yeah,
No,
he's
yeah,
being funny.
really.
He was talking about get a tan, but
We don't want that. No UV rays. Uh,
no UV rays.
well, speaking of, what about red light therapy? Does that help? Someone wants to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, the red light therapy, doesn't that help with like circulation? Erik's talking about it
I
kind of
think
helps with
so.
circulation. So it does. Again, we're back to circulation again. So anything else circulation, um, it's going to help prevent more. That's a good point. He goes, it's going to help prevention of more
Okay.
happening. It's not going to heal what you already have damaged, but
Maybe it changes the skin,
there's a
reduces
yeah,
hair
he's
too.
it does where he's showing like it'll bring more collagen to the
Okay.
surface.
Oh,
So
interesting.
that's kind of cool.
Well,
Yeah.
how long does it take usually to see any results?
It takes a few treatments, is what I'm hearing, a few
Oh, it's
treatments.
not bad.
Yeah, and like in the first one, something about radio frequency energy to heat the skin. So it's kind of like similar, like heating underlying tissues he's talking about, for collagen production. So things
Okay.
that do collagen production
Help.
help.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
definitely help.
What about saunas? And
Saunas
cold
like,
plunges too. I want to ask about that because cold plunges, going into something hot like a sauna and then going into a cold Nordic plunge. First, let's talk about saunas. Does that help reduce the appearance?
the only thing it does is it kind of it like cleanses the skin in a way of the, you're sweating out toxins of
Yeah.
your skin actually does that on its own. I mean, you can just, work up a good sweat, it's going
Yeah.
to come out, but it's not that much. It doesn't do that much. Okay, it doesn't do that much. And with the ice baths, things like that,
Mhm.
something that does is constriction. Now remember, heat expands circulatory and ice constricts. So you want a circulatory system that's working at balance, that
Right.
works like at balance. So the one thing that you get with ice baths is a little bit of that does help your cardiac, even though it constricts. Eric's going, it does help because it gets your
Yeah.
blood flowing because it's trying to open up and
I
from
think
the
they do.
constriction.
I always feel so good the few times I've
Yeah,
done it. Just so
yeah,
good. It's
yeah,
like energizing for some reason.
right. It
Maybe
is.
counter dilatation, it constricts, but then the vascular.
That's what he's saying. He's saying because it constricts, your body's working harder at pushing that through, and it's good for the vascular system. And matter of fact, something that I learned this when I was young because I used to get leg aches all the time, and my kids too. I always had them like lay and put their legs up at the wall, because the way the blood flows, it,
Yeah.
it kind of like makes it more strength. It puts more strength, is what I'm trying to
Okay.
explain, on the vascular walls. Okay. So
Good.
with the ice baths, you're getting this strength to the vascular walls because it's putting more pressure on it as it constricts. So
Interesting.
it makes it
Work on
stronger.
vascular tone and resistance.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
What are coffee scrubs? And well,
What
let's
is it?
coffee scrubs. Scrub yourself with the coffee grounds, I guess.
That's good for your
Recommend.
skin. It's not going to do anything for the lymphatic system
Okay.
except the scrubbing part, maybe for, again, if you're
Actual
doing this.
physical component.
Yeah, if you're doing this where you're massaging and moving things around, that makes a difference.
Okay.
So,
I think it's mostly hype. What about suction therapy, whatever that is? Eric, does that work? Maybe suction bulbs, but I've seen that happen. Or
it's
just,
going to bring more circulation to the surface, he shows.
oh, does that
So
help?
wherever it goes in that area, it's going to bring more circulation. It's not going to cure that spot. Like, say you have the dimples and you put suction on there.
Yeah.
It's temporary. Okay, thank
Okay.
you. He's like temporary. So there is circulatory. This brings it brings circulation to the surface. So it does help, as in your skin actually, but not the actual cellulite spots that are
Okay.
damaged. Yeah.
By the way, when
Prevention.
prevention. When you
Mm.
do saunas, guys, don't forget that, you have to hydrate a lot afterwards. Otherwise, it's going to be a law of diminishing returns because lack of hydration will increase the appearance of cellulite, right?
Yes. It
Okay.
will because it's going to shrink you. It's going to shrink you down. It's going to suck your skin in.
Okay. Laser therapy, we kind of alluded to radio frequency. What about those two treatments, laser or radio frequency? Maybe they're the same. I don't know.
He says yes. He says yes. Anything that gives you collagen production, which is also part of the circulatory, like fixing the circulatory system, because that's what produces collagen is your circulatory system. You know,
Okay.
so that's going to help if it does that. Be careful, he says, with too invasive cutting or suction because
Yeah.
it's not going to make that big a difference, and it's going to be more recovery than necessary. Like it's
Okay.
going to cause more damage than is necessary.
Okay. How effective and safe are treatments like Selfina, Cuo, or VelaShape? I have no idea what that is. Want me to look one of them up? Because they're probably similar. Let me look up VelaShape while Eric, you can answer. Are they effective?
Oh, shape. What is it? I
Vel
think this is something with the circulatory to the surface again. Is this something like where they go under the skin? I'm seeing something like under the skin.
uh yeah, it looks like it. VelaShape,
Yeah, he's
cost
showing
recovery.
something under the skin, almost like a liposuction in a way, but
It
they're
says it
putting
uses
stuff in.
uses infrared light, radio frequency. Oopsie. I'll continue on my browser. Um,
He says it does
and
help.
tissue mobilization.
Yeah, he
Okay.
says it does help, just like the radio frequency when we were talking about. He says it does. It helps tighten. It helps stimulate collagen production. These are all temporary, though, if you're
Oh
not taking
yeah.
care of yourself.
Now,
And yeah, they're not gonna heal what's already done.
okay.
So the point is he's saying get your body to a place where the body fat is a little lower and you have more muscular tissue.
That's the basics.
It's going to make, yeah, it's going to make a difference. It really is. It's going to make a lot of difference for
Okay,
you.
QO is the first and only FDA-approved injectable treatment. It's specifically designed to reduce moderate to severe cellulite in the buttocks of adult
Yeah,
women.
that's what he was showing me. He was showing me something injected.
Enzymes
Yeah.
to break down the fibrous bands, which creates the dimples under the skin that cause the dimpling appearance of cellulite. Can you tell me about how permanent that is? And I'll look up the other one, Selfina.
Yeah, he's saying that that's what he was showing me because he was showing me something being injected under the skin. Um, he's saying that this does help. It does help. Yeah, he's going,
Okay.
there's some though that have so much of it that it's hard to get to all of it, is how he's showing.
I can
So you
imagine.
still want to change lifestyle, you still want to make sure you're doing things that help with this. But yes, he says yes to that. It does help.
Okay, the sulfina system treats the primary structural cause of cellulite, the connective bands woven throughout the fat on the thighs and buttocks. Um, so let's see. It's a one-time treatment. And I think that's what it is. It's an injectable thing. All right. Do these
Yeah,
kind
he said yes to it.
okay, do these kind of procedures work for all skin types and body shapes?
You know, that depends on a person's immune system, Erik says, and health.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have health issues, if you're more prone to scarring, if you can't say yes to everybody because everybody, there's differences on how people react to things, right? But he says by the most part, most people, yes, it will
Okay.
help. Um, but it's not a permanent answer.
Right. Okay. Is it true that cellulite creams, we talked about that already? Does tanning hide or worsen the appearance of cellulite? Of course, we have to say that, pale is good. I mean, no, I'm not talking about between different ethnicities, even those
No,
dark
no,
skin
he's
can get
talking.
tanner,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Eric's
not
showing
the,
Eric's showing tanning stuff when he said get a tan. He wasn't talking about being in the sun. He's talking about self tanning.
okay.
Those are chemicals too. So you got to be careful with things. But yes, the darker the skin, the less it
It appears.
shows.
Okay.
It appears the appearance of it. So that does make a difference. He said.
Okay. What are the emotional or energetic causes of cellulite? We covered that pretty well, unless you have anything else to add, Ginger or Eric.
No, he just again he's saying lymphatic congestion and accumulation of fat is a part of that holding in anger,
Or any negative feelings.
self-loathing,
Yeah.
negative feelings about yourself. It's all self. Like anger in others, yes, but in anger in self, yes, but also most of it is like self. Depleting of yourself, depleting thoughts of yourself, negative thoughts of yourself, can
Okay.
really cause us to get worse.
Why the cellulite? Is it our attempt to energetically kind of cushion ourselves from trauma because of past trauma, etc.?
That would kind of because he's saying lymphatic congestion, but that would be more like gaining the fat
Oh,
more than
right.
it is the actual
Right.
congestion of the circulation. But it's almost
Okay.
like a blockage. It's like you're putting blocks in yourself,
Oh,
like blocking off circulation,
right.
like you're stopping
That
certain
makes
things
sense.
from flowing. Yeah.
Okay. What are the most effective treatments for cellulite today? And is there any permanent cellulite cure or removal? What about liposuction? That works. That
So
takes all this. So
Yeah,
that sells out.
yeah, it does take all the cells. So liposuction is pretty invasive.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's saying that it's not going to completely eliminate. Let me see what he's saying here. He shows like where it connects to the skin, that connective tissue to the skin.
Oh, it's just
Um,
tethered there.
yeah, like
Inside
it's
of the
stuck
skin.
there.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
stuck. Yeah.
yeah, because even though the fat's out of there, it's still, that's why when you get a low body fat, you can still, people can still have it,
Yeah.
you know. So, but if you're filling your body out with muscle tissue, pushing that. Erik is agreeing that this makes a big difference for the circulatory system, and it's going to help deplenish the looks of it. Like you're not going to see it as much. Yeah. It's going to fill out in a way where it's almost like the muscles in the way he's showing.
Okay.
It's like the muscles in the way of it,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Total sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's an interesting one that goes along the same lines. Does cellulite come from unhealed emotional wounds, like those related to one's mother? Hmm.
Yes.
Tell me about.
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
Yes. Um, it's not specifically just to mother, but childhood. He's showing childhood trauma, childhood not good enough. It messes with your self-acceptance.
Self-love
Nothing's
again.
ever good enough. A lot of scars. It's almost like a scarring. We get scarring that affects us on a physical level.
Like an
So it'll
energetic
affect your
scar.
emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you have it physically, it shows up, and it can show up in many ways. So, yes, this is part of it. Maybe you had a mom that, you were never good enough, or
Yeah.
everything you did was, picked at or judged.
Oh boy.
This can make a difference. It really can.
Yeah. So,
And again, he's saying, remember, and this is for everybody, that it also, when you're a child, it's harder on how you let things affect you because you're still learning, right? But when you're an adult, you can change those things.
yeah.
You can work on them. You
Mantras.
can
I am
heal
good
them.
enough. I am good enough. Look in the mirror and say, boy, you are
Yes.
one
Yes.
beautiful effing soul.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's interesting that, emotional scars can translate into physical scars, i.e., the fibrous bands that are the causative of cellulite. Am I on the right track there?
You are. Now think of this as in he's showing me, he's making me laugh. Every time I turn around, he's got some kind of weird thing with his hair, and he's cracking me up. It's like, whoo, like his hair.
Oh, of course.
He's got like an Einstein look to him
Oh
going on.
boy.
Yeah. Um, Getting me off track, Erik. So think about how scars stop circulation.
Yeah.
Think of that.
The
There's no
fibrous
circulation.
band. Stop
Yeah.
it. Right.
Yep. Yeah. So it turns into scars throughout the body. So it can show up with cellulite, but it can show up in other ways too. It can be scarring of the circulatory system. You can have
Yeah.
arterial scarring. You can have, scarring on your organs.
Right. Right.
There's all kinds of ways for that. And absolutely 100%, he says that emotional patterns
Yeah.
cause
Absolutely.
this.
Okay. Spiritual purpose of cellulite. We covered that. Beat a dead horse there. Can we energetically ask cellulite to leave or heal itself?
You can. You can.
It have big
Um,
powers of manifestation, I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, yeah, you
Can't have it
can.
figured out.
That's he goes, that's a good start. That's where you
Right.
start. You start with the mind, you start with your thoughts, because thoughts are powerful, words are powerful.
Mm,
Start there, okay?
right.
Start there. Because
All
it's
right.
going to get you where you need to go. Like you're going to be driven to do the other things if you get on track with wanting to kill yourself.
Yeah, okay. Can visualization along the same lines, affirmation or brain rewiring help reduce it? Is that along the same lines of yes, is
It
it?
is. It is. It is absolutely getting he's saying set boundaries in your life, self-control, self-discipline, which is not easy for most of us humans, but it is possible.
Yeah.
It's all about habits, building those habits, the healthy
Okay.
habits. But he's saying, work on those feelings that hold you back, you
Okay.
know?
Why is cellulite considered unattractive in society? And has it always been seen as a problem throughout history? Or has there been a
So
time where people
that
thought,
is yeah, that's a perspective
I mean, some
uh,
cultures like, that means you're well fed, that means your family's rich.
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm talking
That's
about
why I'm
that.
saying it's all in a perspective. So it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It's the way people look at it. Just it's a comparison when you compare yourselves, and then you have Eric's going. You have people that look so perfect in a magazine or on TV or on the internet, and people compare themselves. So that's why it's so important not to compare yourself to anybody,
Mhm.
because I guarantee, I think that he's said this before. He's going, if you took your problems and had them in a bag and everybody in a circle had their problems, put their problems all in the circle, and you seen everybody else's problems, you'd grab your own bag back, because everybody has a problem,
Of course.
or not a problem, but has problems
Problems, period. Yeah.
that they deal with. But not getting off track, but he's saying a lot of times it is physical stuff that people will deal with
Okay.
the most.
What do men really think about cellulite on women? That's a great question. Do they feel like, ugh, it's ugly,
It
or
depends on the man. It depends on the man, Eric said. He
depends on
goes,
what other assets you have. If you have a brilliant
right.
mind and heart and etc., then
Well, when
so
you love somebody, truly love somebody for who they are unconditionally, okay, those things don't matter. Matter of fact, Eric says that there's little imperfections that men find cute on women that they like, that they're attracted to.
okay.
Because it's their uniqueness of that person that they love. If somebody has a problem with the way you look, then they're not truly in love with you, he
Yeah,
said.
that's right.
Because when you truly love somebody, it's
That's
unconditional
unconditional.
love, and
Yeah.
it's who you are. It's not, it's he's going, don't even say that it's not what's on the outside. He goes, because you see different on the outside on somebody you love. So somebody might look at your partner and go, oh my gosh, what are they doing with that person? Because they're judging or their perspective of
Oh,
that person,
yeah.
right? But you see that person and look at them and you see them as a beautiful person because you
Right.
see that whole person and you love everything about them, and that's the way
Right.
it's supposed to be. And no, that's not a thing. He goes, there's going to be people that are going to go, oh, that's just fantasy, that doesn't really happen. It's not true. It does happen.
Yeah.
True love sees true beauty in each person.
You like the
So
book and book's cover and the inside,
that's right.
not just like the
That's right.
cover.
Yep.
This
Yep.
person wants to know, how can I overcome the embarrassment and learn to love myself, cellulite and all?
That's a good question, Eric said.
It's
He
very
goes, that's one of the most important questions, actually, because when it comes to any kind of, we're going to do air quotes, imperfections, okay, they're looked at and labeled that, but they're not really. They're just part of you. They're just who you are, part of who you are. You need to love yourself.
warts and all.
Flaws and
Yeah.
all, yeah. If you want to look at it as a flaw, or you can look at it as, I'm unique and different and I love this about
Yeah.
myself. I don't want to fit in. I want to stand out. You got to have that kind of ideology, he says. Because if you don't, you're going to spend the rest of your life comparing yourself to everybody else and never be happy,
Yeah.
no matter how much liposuction you get, he just said. So
It's true.
just learn to look at yourself and find beauty in all things about you. Anything that you don't like about yourself, start turning it around and telling yourself you love it.
Absolutely. It's pinch that cellulite. You're pinching the cheeks of little babies. I just love you. You're so cute. How could
Yeah,
you do it? If nothing works, should I just imagine it gone and learn to accept it? Acceptance is key.
it is. Acceptance is
Awesome.
key. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It can imagination be that strong?
Yeah,
Imagine
he said, yeah, he just said, he goes, if you do that, then you will actually see it less. You'll see it
okay.
less.
Good.
Sometimes we can be blinded, like not blinded, like as in it's still really bad and I just don't see it. But he wants to say, like, what he's saying is like it actually can lessen it in a way, like
Wow.
lessen the looks of it. And
Cool.
it's not just perspective, it actually can change. You can manifest things to change on you
Thought creates
physically.
reality, people.
Right. But he says, be careful. Don't get so much obsessed with it where you're hanging on to it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Because if you're sitting there like, oh my God, I gotta do this. This has to happen, then you're gonna be hanging on to it.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna change.
Right. All right, Ginger, we talked about what you have to offer in the way of fitness and all that and nutrition. Tell us what you personally do in your routine. Like what kind of diet do you eat? What kind of supplements do you take?
So me personally, the only supplement I guess there's a couple of them. I do the electrolytes. I put electrolytes in my water because of my
Okay.
kidney issues.
Oh yeah, right.
And I mean, everybody should have electrolytes in their water nowadays because our water's stripped down so much.
Oh
But
yeah.
so I put electrolytes in my water. Another supplement is protein powder, which I don't use a lot of. I put a little bit in my coffee that I'm drinking here. I put it a little bit in sometimes my oats. But I eat a diet of lean meat.
Mhm.
Okay, not a lot of meat, but lean meat.
Right.
I really had to push myself for that, not because I have a problem with eating meat, like on a spiritual level, but
Right.
just because I just never had a taste for it too much. But you need it. You need your vitamins. You need if you don't have a reaction to it, you need the proteins. Okay. Um, and then I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Now, now saying that with vegetables, I'm like a child when it comes to vegetables. There's
The
only a few
broccoli.
that yeah. Now I love broccoli, but I can't stand Brussels sprouts. There's a few things, or artichokes. So there's a few things that I don't like. So I always suggest to people find the things you like and repeat it. Okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to repeat it. Like I love a broccoli. I love asparagus. I love spinach. I love something that I will do too is I will have like, and I'm not like a eat salads all the time, but we'll always make sure that I have some kind of leafiness to like, even when
Right.
I have my eggs in the morning, I'll have some spinach and salad
Oh yeah.
next to it because it fills you up. So the key to staying full is eating low calorie, high volume foods, but make
Right.
sure they're whole foods. Okay. Things that grow like animals or plants.
Right.
So I am somebody who doesn't eat first thing in the morning, and
Okay.
it's not because I'm intermittent fasting. And the question you had earlier, Elisa, about
Right.
fasting, um, that doesn't make that much a difference, okay, for people. It doesn't matter what time you eat. It,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Once you get
You
the
just it
calories
just
in there.
that's yeah, it's all about calories. So anyway, so I don't eat early. I eat like later afternoon, and I eat a lot of Greek yogurts,
Oh
cottage
yeah, me
cheese.
too. I love that.
Um, yeah, put some cottage cheese in your scrambled eggs. It's really good. It
Mm.
melts like cheese. It's really good. So I do a diet where I make protein my priority. And if
Okay.
everybody was to make protein their priority, they would notice that they would lose body fat
Oh,
better, like
interesting. That
easier.
makes sense.
Okay, because it fills you up. And so I don't know if I answered your question. I
Do
started
you
talking off there, but
take any supplements, herbal or otherwise?
I just take a multivitamin,
Okay.
and I do take a vitamin B12 and zinc,
Okay.
and vitamin D with K. I take those, but I'm not really like oh, you know what else I do take is milk thistle. I was trying to think of an herb that I
Okay.
take. That I do take milk thistle daily because that gets rid of the toxins, and since the kidney issues I have, they work
Yeah.
together with the liver. Um, but I do eat a balanced diet, and I want to say though that I am not perfect, okay? 80/20, guys. 80/20. All
No.
right. You don't have to be perfect. If you go to a party, eat the freaking cupcake. It's
Yeah,
okay.
really. Come on.
Yeah. You just don't want to eat them
Oh, I'm
every
hungry
day.
now.
Yeah. I know, huh? But yeah, I just eat a balanced diet of fruits, vegetables, and lean meats.
What about
And
exercise? And we'll close on that. The exercise
oh,
you do.
oh, I do work out. That's what I wanted to say earlier. It doesn't take much, okay? Now I do 3 days a week lifting
Right?
weights, and I do my walk every single day. I walk the dog, Bella,
Okay.
and then I come back and do my own walk because
She
has
does.
her own thing when
Yeah,
I walk
really.
her. You know, she
Right.
can't go as far. She get a little
No,
late.
no, no.
Yeah. So
Okay.
then I go do my own walk. But I lift weights 3 days a week and it's for a full body workout. But I want to tell people the body only needs 2 days a week, okay, of strength training, and you only need a few moves. And those moves are a push, a pull, okay, so a bench press
Right.
or a push up, a row, or
Right.
like anything you pull like this, or if you're bent over towards the ground, you can pull up. And you want a lunge,
The
okay, on each
lunge. Oh
side.
my God.
Yeah,
Boy, you
yeah,
talk about lactic
yeah,
acid buildup in the
yeah.
thighs. The
So
bigger
those
muscles
three
really do
moves,
burn. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
those 3 moves 2 days a week, and consistency is number one. So just get consistent if you want to do it 1 day a week and work your way up, because it's getting consistency that matters with
Exactly.
diet and exercise. But those are the three main moves that do a full
Makes sense.
body. But you can do
Like
other
push-ups
added
and
things.
lunges.
But
That would
that's
be
yeah,
push-ups and lunges. That would be
yeah,
pretty.
yeah. You want the row though for the back, because you
Oh
don't
yeah,
want to
the
build the
row.
front and walk
Oh
around like
yeah.
a
Right.
monkey. So
Yeah, like Eric's probably turning into a monkey right now. So
that's funny. You're channeling him, because as soon
uh-oh.
as I seen that, I seen him going, oh, oh, oh.
Oh my God, it's gorilla. Oh gosh, what was I going to
Oh
say else?
gosh.
I think that's it. Oh yeah, I do lunges when I go outside. I go out to the little outdoor kitchen area. I always
Yeah,
try to do lunges on the way up and on the way back. Just you
that's
can
good.
even incorporate it into your daily
You
routine.
can do them in place.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right. And you
true.
can do lunges in place. And if you can't do it because you got knee issues, okay,
Yeah,
hold a chair and just try to do some squats. Okay, at least do
squats,
some
right.
squats. Those are going to do more of the front string, the front
Okay,
muscles of your legs, but they are going to do a little bit of the back. So at least do some squats. Deadlifts are really good if you're
right.
not doing lunges, but hang on to something. There's ways to modify it. I do modified exercises too for people
Yeah. Oh,
that
good.
can't do a full workout.
Oh
So
yeah. Like
yeah,
a chair, you can put your heels on the chair and just lift up your and lay down and lift up your buttocks, and that'll get the hamstrings real good, right?
yeah, yeah. There
Okay.
are so many ways that you can work muscle, even if somebody can't say walk or they have lower body problems. There
Yeah.
you still want to work what you can. Like my mom has one arm gone,
Yeah.
right? Still got to work the other arm and then make that one work. Like push.
Yeah.
We put it on like
Right.
a thing she holds, and then she goes like that. You
Great.
want to do whatever you can just to get movement, if anything, because
That's right.
circulation is number one.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Ginger. You guys check out her information. You can see that she even works with modification, etc. Look at her information in the link below in the description box. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, Eric, and thank
Thank
all of you
you,
guys for listening. I hope you give us a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd really, really appreciate it. If not, I'll
yeah.
just send Eric to haunt you.
Eric says, "Love you."
Love you,
Oh,
sweetheart.
now he's got a sheet on. All
Uh-oh, it's a
right.
ghost now. Eric is in full Eric mode. All right, thanks, Ginger.
All right. Thank you, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.